At 3 a.m., the house makes different sounds. The refrigerator hum grows louder. The heater clicks like distant footsteps. The old oak tree, outside my bedroom window, scratches gently against the siding when the wind moves through it. At that hour, the world feels suspended, like God has pressed pause on everything except memory. That's when I cry. You wouldn't know it if you saw me at the grocery store. I'm the 83-year-old woman who compliments the cashier's nail polish. I'm the one who laughs a little too brightly at church potlucks. I bring lemon squares to neighborhood gatherings and tell everyone, "Oh, I'm doing just fine, honey." And I smile, I always smile. But every night at 3 a.m., when the house is quiet and there's no one left to perform for, I wake up and the smile disappears. My name is Margaret Whitmore. I live alone in the same 2-story home in Ohio where my husband and I raised 3 children. The paint is peeling from the porch railings. The wallpaper in the hallway is the same faded blue floral pattern we picked out in 1974. The carpet still carries faint dents where Harold's recliner used to sit. Harold, even now, saying his name in my head feels like pressing on a bruise. He's been gone 12 years, heart attack. Quick, the doctors said, peaceful they said. There is nothing peaceful about losing the person who memorized your laugh. During the day, I keep busy. I fold laundry slowly. I water the geraniums. I reread old cookbooks. I attend the senior center on Tuesdays. I volunteer at church on Sundays. I answer I'm blessed whenever someone asks how I'm doing. It's what you're supposed to say. In America, we're good at smiling. We're good at I'm fine. We're good at strength. But we're not very good at loneliness. At 3 a.m., the truth crawls out of the dark. It usually starts with a dream. I'll be young again, 22, standing in my mother's kitchen wearing a white cotton dress, laughing at something Harold whispered in my ear. Or I'll be holding my first baby, feeling that warm weight against my chest. Or I'll be dancing in the living room while the record player crackles out an old Sinatra tune. And then I wake up, and it's quiet. The side of the bed beside me is cold. I reach out sometimes, still half asleep, expecting to feel Harold's arm. Instead, my hand touches emptiness, sheets, air. That's when the tears come. Not loud sobbing. I'm too old for dramatic grief. It's a slow leaking. A steady reminder that time took everything I loved and left me here to remember it. I don't cry because I'm ungrateful. I've had a beautiful life, truly. I've known love most people only dream about. I've held babies, baked birthday cakes, watched fireworks from the back of a pickup truck, and kissed a man who adored me. I cry because I'm still here, and so much of my world isn't. My children live in different states now. Susan is in Arizona. Michael is in Colorado. David, my baby, is in North Carolina. They call, they visit when they can, they love me. But they have lives, jobs, grandchildren, mortgage payments, soccer practices. I raised them to fly. I just didn't realize how quiet the nest would be. During the day, I tell myself I'm independent. I drive myself to doctor's appointments. I clip coupons. I balance my checkbook by hand. I refuse to get one of those emergency alert necklaces because I don't want to feel fragile. I've always been strong. I survived the loss of my father at 16. I worked 2 jobs in my 20s. I supported Harold through layoffs. I sat beside my mother's hospital bed and held her hand until her breathing slowed and stopped. Strength was the language of my generation. We didn't talk about feelings. We folded them neatly and put them away. But grief doesn't stay folded forever. At 3 a.m., it unfolds itself. I walk through the house sometimes when I can't sleep. The floorboards creak under my weight. I pause at the hallway mirror and see a stranger looking back, thin white hair, soft wrinkles, hands veined and spotted with age. Inside, I still feel 35. Inside, I'm still waiting for Harold to come home from work. I keep his slippers by the bed. I don't know why, they're worn thin. The sole's nearly smooth. Sometimes I press my face into one and try to remember his scent. It's mostly gone now. Time erases even the smallest comforts. There's a photograph on the mantle, us at our 50th anniversary party. Golden balloons behind us, our grandchildren gathered at our feet, Harold's hand resting on my waist. I look at that picture every night before bed. He was 78 then, I was 71. We thought we had more time. Isn't that the cruelest thing about life? You never know when you've reached the last of something. The last vacation, the last dance, the last goodnight kiss. If I had known that Tuesday morning would be our last breakfast together, I would have lingered. I would have memorized the way he folded his newspaper. I would have told him one more time how proud I was of the man he'd become. Instead, I said, "Don't forget to pick up milk." And by noon, he was gone. That's what replays at 3 o'clock a.m., the ordinary moments that turned out to be sacred. Sometimes the crying isn't only about Harold. It's about time itself. 83 is a strange age. You become invisible in public, but hypervisible in your own mind. Cashiers call you sweetie. Doctors talk to your children instead of you. Strangers assume you're fragile. But inside, you're a cathedral of memories. I remember the smell of my grandmother's perfume. I remember the fear of the Cuban Missile Crisis. I remember watching the moon landing on a tiny black and white television. I remember the first time Harold held my hand in church and how my heart felt like it might burst. All of that lives inside me. And yet, at 3 a.m., it feels like I'm the only one carrying it. I cry for the young mother I used to be, the one who stayed up all night rocking fevers away. I cry for the arguments Harold and I had that now seems so small. I cry for the apologies we never needed to make because love covered everything. I cry because I miss being needed. That's something people don't talk about when they talk about aging. The silence of not being essential anymore. No one needs me to pack lunches. No one needs me to pay the mortgage. No one needs me to stay up late waiting for headlights in the driveway. I smile in public because I don't want to burden anyone with that truth. America loves stories about resilience. We admire the elderly woman who doesn't let anything get her down. We celebrate positivity, but sometimes positivity is just polished pain. At church, they ask me to pray for others. And I do. I pray for the young couple expecting their first child. I pray for the veterans struggling with memories. I pray for the teenager battling anxiety. And then I go home, wash my face, and cry quietly into my pillow. Not because I'm hopeless, because I'm human. There are nights when the tears surprise me. They fall for no clear reason. I'll wake from a dreamless sleep, glance at the glowing red numbers on the clock, 3 o'clock a.m., and feel a wave of sorrow wash over me. It's not dramatic, it's not cinematic. It's a whisper that says, "You're alone." I talk to God during those hours. Why am I still here? I've asked more than once. Not in anger, just in wonder. Most of my friends are gone. My sister passed 3 years ago. The neighborhood has changed, new families, new cars, new rhythms. I'm like an old photograph taped to the wall of a renovated house. Sometimes, I wonder if maybe I'm still here to remember, to hold the stories no one else can. Last winter, something happened that shifted those 3 a.m. hours. I slipped on the back steps while taking out the trash. Nothing dramatic, I caught myself before falling completely, but it scared me. For a moment, I saw the possibility of lying there unseen. That night when I woke at 3 a.m., the tears came harder than usual. Not just for Harold, not just for time, but for fear. Fear of becoming a story people tell at Thanksgiving. Remember Grandma's house. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in years. I called Susan and told her the truth. "I get lonely," I said. The words felt foreign, heavy. There was silence on the other end. Then I heard her crying. "Mom," she whispered, "why didn't you tell us?" Because mothers don't want to worry their children. Because my generation was taught to endure quietly. Because smiling is easier than explaining. After that conversation, small things changed. Michael started calling every Sunday evening instead of once a month. David set up a video chat system so I could see the grandkids' faces more often. Susan insisted on visiting every spring, no excuses. And I did something else brave. I joined a grief support group at the community center. The first night, I almost turned the car around. I didn't want to sit in a circle of folding chairs, admitting that I still cry 12 years later. But I went, and I listened. There was a man who lost his wife to cancer, a woman whose husband passed in his sleep, another who said she still sets 2 plates at dinner by mistake. When it was my turn to speak, my voice trembled. "I smile in public," I said, "but I cry every night at 3 a.m. The room grew quiet. Then heads nodded. I wasn't the only one. Something about sharing it out loud softened the hour. Now when I wake at 3 a.m., I still feel the ache. I still miss Harold with a depth words can't fully capture. I still walk the hallway and trace my fingers along old photographs. But I no longer feel ashamed of the tears. They are proof that I loved deeply. And loving deeply is never something to apologize for. A few months ago, my youngest granddaughter asked me, "Grandma, are you scared of dying?" Children ask the questions adults avoid. I thought about it carefully before answering. "No," I said gently. "I'm not scared of dying, I'm grateful for living." That's the truth. Even with the loneliness, even with the 3 a.m. tears. This life, every ordinary Tuesday breakfast, every argument, every anniversary balloon was a gift. If I have learned anything at 83, it's this. Strength is not the absence of tears. It's allowing yourself to feel them and still choosing to wake up. Make coffee and smile at the cashier, because that smile isn't fake. It's layered. It holds grief and gratitude at the same time. Tonight, I know I will wake again at 3 a.m. I will reach across the bed and feel cool sheets. I will remember Harold's laugh. I will let the tears fall. But maybe, after a while, I will whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for the years. Thank you for the loves. Thank you for the memories that still visit me in the dark." And then I will wipe my face, close my eyes, and wait for morning. Because when the sun rises, I will put on my cardigan, drive to the store, and smile at the world. Not because I have no sorrow, but because I survived it. And maybe that's what growing old in America really means. Carrying your heartbreak with quiet dignity, loving fiercely even after loss, and discovering that even at 83, your heart still beats with stories worth telling. I smile in public, I cry at 3 a.m., and somehow, in between those two truths, I am still beautifully, stubbornly alive.